Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Meredith Bogus and Tim Maurer.
Where I hope you're feeling truly in your element this morning as advisors, as peers, as partners and friends. My name is Meredith Bogus, and I, along with my co-host, Tim Maurer, have the distinct privilege of walking with you through the next 2 days for this conference we've planned for you.
Of course, it almost seems silly to welcome you to an event that really started yesterday with a well-attended pre-conference and a phenomenal opening night reception. How many drone flyers do we have in the room? Come on, let's see. Keep your hand up if you made it the whole way through that thing without crashing. Braulio, congratulations, sir. How many laser taggers did we have? Yeah? How'd that go for you? Now, here's the most important question. Who enjoyed a molecular salad? It was the coolest thing last night, and I'm sorry that so many of you missed it. But indeed, it truly is special now that we're all in this place to look out onto your shining faces. And of course, your not so shining faces if you haven't had enough coffee yet. And today's welcome is especially special because it marks the first time our two communities, advisors from both BAM and Loring Ward, have come together at an event of this scale.
That's right. If you remember last year at this time, you went to your respective fall conferences, one in Colorado, one here at Union Station. The news of our merger was still fresh, and advisors were wondering, curious but excited, what it might mean for their practices. Fast forward to today, here we are, a unified community, on the other side of a year of new practices, new team alignment, new people, and of course, new projects. There is so much we're excited to share with you, both in the next hour and over the next 2 days. But before we do, an important point of conference housekeeping.
Indeed, your conference housekeeper in charge, Tim Maurer. This particular issue pertains to the sometimes tedious but important topic of continuing education. If you, like me, are a credentialed advisor seeking credit hours toward your annual requirements, you're in luck. That's because there are more than 60 credit hours available for the taking at this year's conference. And more good news, you won't have to fill out a single form to get your CE credit. Yeah, there we go. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
A round of applause for that.
But, there's a but, to obtain any of them, you must adhere to a new process of submitting your attendance for credit. On your name tags, take a look at it, you'll notice a QR code. Have you seen the QR code? Have you used it yet? Maybe yesterday at the pre-conference. Each time you attend a breakout session or a general session, that code must be scanned upon entering and leaving the session. No scan, no credit. Now, before you picture a bottleneck stampede akin to what happens at a typical Larry Swedroe session, don't dismay. We will have designated entry and exit doors for credit seekers. Plenty of team members posted up at the doors to each session, all wearing these clever buttons. What are the clever buttons? There they are, see? They'll be ready and willing to get you situated and answer any and all questions you may have about this year's process. Not in need of credit hours? Simply plan on walking through the doors not designated to keep traffic moving. And now that I've handled the very least interesting part of this, why don't you tell everybody about the fun stuff this year, Mayor?
Well, Tim, maybe you can write our talk next year, and then you can decide who says what.
I'll consider that. I edited.
Between our In Our Element mailings, the Cool Mod Science event last night, and the gigantic periodic table in the hallway, it cannot have escaped your attention that this year we want to explore the art and the science of what we do as investors. For the next 2 days, we're going to unpack two distinct definitions of the word chemistry as it relates to our collective work.
The first is advisor as chemist. We've long relied on the phrase, the science of investing, to describe the foundational investment philosophy upon which advisors build their businesses. But the scientific approach extends far beyond portfolio construction, doesn't it? Just like a chemist in a lab, it's an advisor's mission to come up with the perfect, unique formula for his or her clients, the right solution of qualitative Exploration, discovery, design, and planning powered by the appropriate doses of quantitative, investment, tax, retirement, estate, and charitable planning that will help make the achievement of our clients' goals possible. Too much or too little of one ingredient or the other won't yield the same results. So it's important that the person doing the mixing, that's you, by the way, has the right level of expertise.
Right. But the chemistry of the perfect financial plan is not the only reason that word should be on our consciousness as advisors. Because just important as getting all of those elements right is the key interpersonal chemistry you have with your clients and your service team and your strategic partners and your colleagues in the office. That kind of chemistry, it's that deep sort of like kinetic energy feeling you get when you click with someone you're working with. I have hit the jackpot in that respect in my work at BAM, and I'm sure you can think of someone too, a colleague or a client or a partner who you click with and that chemistry is so strong. It's that chemistry, that's the glue that holds this whole thing together.
I mean, think about it. You certainly know that chemistry we're talking about when you see it on the screen. Any fans of Ocean's 11? That was a pretty solid cast, right? Jim and Pam on The Office. Robert Redford and Paul Newman as Butch and Sundance. How many people actually know what that even means? We're seeing the demographics shift here. Yeah, we've got 3 people know Butch and Sundance. But how about Amy Poehler and Tina Fey? And man, they can just do anything. Chances are you also know it when you see it at work, too. Interpersonal chemistry is an essential part of your success and satisfaction as professionals and as people. Throughout the conference, we'll explore the importance of the relationships advisors have with all of their constituents and why deliberately seeking out good chemistry when it comes to those we work with is key to success and the significance we hope to have in our work.
It's why we love the tagline of this year's conference, In Our Element. It, of course, speaks to how we feel when we're all together here in October, right? But it also speaks to our place as a community in the broader industry and that feeling you get when you are across the table from your client back home. It's why we've invited speakers from our bench of financial chemists, as well as the brightest minds in our industry, to share their insights with you.
To reinforce the thematic parallels we're introducing at the conference, we've made sure to design sessions focused on the elements of a sound financial plan, including foundational topics like tax strategies, retirement saving and spending, business continuation, trusts, required minimum distributions, you know, the fun stuff, and qualitative life planning, of course. We've planned these sessions to spotlight both evergreen and contemporary planning strategies that keep our skills as advisors sharp and helps us deliver on the promise of true wealth management. Then there are the investment-related topics, the fundamental formula for our portfolios, including an update from our investment policy committee, our approach to alternatives, and perspectives on performance.
On the client chemistry front, we've planned sessions focused on the ingredients necessary to build a lasting, sustained client relationship that lasts lifetimes. Topics like understanding demographic personas, supporting those you serve through big transitions, and using technology not just for efficiency, but to enhance the experience your clients have. And finally, we've planned sessions with your business in mind, right? Conversations that addresses the challenges and opportunities you have working in your practice, not just on it. Industry benchmark, compliance, tools, and technology that help you run a seamless practice.
I love compliance.
I know, me too.
I really do.
I do.
Sal and Jake,
So
great
fun.
to have you here. We do. We love compliance, don't we? With all of these sessions and credits, one of the biggest challenges before you might be how to refine all of that information into a handful of insights and an even smaller number of actions that you'd like to take when you get home. So I'll recommend a technique that I've been using for years to help retain those gems. Dedicate one page in your notebook to a list of insights and actions you'd like to take when you get back to your home or office. Simply draw a line down the middle of that page and write insights at the top left column and actions on the right, making those actions as specific as possible. Then, when you get home, highlight at least one, but no more than 3 actions that you plan to take to put that light bulb moment into action.
But capturing those insights is hard when our attention is divided. How many of you in this room have an out of office on your email right now, right? Everybody, probably. But how many of you also are still responding to email? Probably just as many, right? I know I am. Excuse me. For the next 2 days, let's make good on what that out of office says. Let's delay our replies. Let's table it. Let's leave the task and the teams back at the office and give ourselves the gift of undivided concentration on the sessions you're in, the conversations you're having, and of course, on the insights and actions that are coming from them.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Insights and actions. Yeah. By the way, how many yoga people, too? I didn't ask that question. Braulio, you didn't make it? You did make it. You didn't make it? Come on. The diversity of topics and expertise showcased this week is surely a direct reflection of the talent, experience, and enthusiasm we possess as a community. Are you getting a little enthusiasm up here? It was what drew me to this group in the first place and what has only deepened my commitment to this collective 6 years later. Unbelievably enough, this community was made stronger, even more unique when we came together with Loring Ward. Something we've been privileged to experience firsthand throughout 2019. That vision was created and continues to be brought to life by our next 3 speakers, here to share with you what our still fledgling partnership has borne so far and what's to come in years ahead. So please join me in welcoming the first, a man of compelling chemistry indeed, Adam Birnbaum.
Any St. Louis Blues fans possibly recognize that music? I know Boston fans sure do. Well, hello, and welcome to St. Louis, right? Welcome to your 2019 National Conference. Before I begin, though, let's give Meredith and Tim a big round of applause, right? There is so much creativity, energy, ideas, and obviously sleepless nights that go into producing this conference every year. And Tim and Meredith certainly do a big part of the creative heavy lifting. But there are countless others, Kelly, who really put their hearts and souls into making this an event that's valuable to you. I'm truly appreciative of them, and I really, really hope that you have an awesome conference. Speaking of you, my thanks to each and every one of you in the room, not just for attending, but for actively participating and engaging throughout the next few days. We've actually set another record this year, a record number of advisors and partners who really make up the fabric of this advisor services community. This is all for you, and it's really hard to think of an experience that better evokes the power of partnership than this. So I'm actually going to stay on that theme for a second, the power of partnership. Because in a way, the thing I'm probably most excited about this morning is that because of partnership, my remarks are actually going to be pretty brief. You heard that right. Now, for those who know me, it's not because I don't love a mic, a stage, and some undivided attention. No, it's because I have the privilege of turning over the bulk of this morning's session to 2 individuals who are, simply put, the most capable, driven, advisor-loving, advisor services-obsessed leaders there are in Alex Potts and Mike Clinton. 1 year ago, at this actually very same conference, Dave Levin facilitated a conversation with Alex and me that allowed us to speak to the reasons that we came together. You heard about our why, and you heard our clear and unquestionable commitment we made to you. A literal tripling down, not just of dollars, but of resources and focus to do everything we could to help you help more people than ever before. Our hope was that for the advisors we serve, the new total would be greater than the sum of our respective parts. And our plan was to bring forward the best solutions that each organization had and use our now larger scale, reach, and capability to accelerate the delivery of new and enhanced services. From those early days, I think we viewed the power of partnership appropriately and continuously through the lens of our services. What we do, what we deliver to make your lives and the lives of your clients better. Indisputably, this is the single most important thing that we could be working on. It's truly our reason for being. And in a few minutes, I really think you're going to hear Alex and Mike bring this to life more fully. Before that happens, though, I do want to spend 1 minute sharing with you an item that, honestly, from my perspective, I didn't fully expect or appreciate a year ago at this time. And that's the power and the inspiration and the ideas that come from new leaders who think, who breathe, who sleep, and eat how to make advisors' lives better. Not just in the boardroom, but in the hundreds of daily interactions among those who are fully focused on moving our offering forward. Think about a chief marketing officer fully engaged with a chief experience officer. Think about leaders of advisor engagement and education in continual dialogue now with a regional director team that is nationwide. Think about technology teams connected with operations and service leadership to measure and enhance response times and accuracy. These things matter, and we're getting even better at it. And when you add that to the power that comes from a fully dedicated chair of advisor services who gets to spend his time on focusing on what's next, where the industry is headed so that we can stay steps ahead, and a dedicated president who gets to spend his time on what's now, running and executing an advisor services platform like no other, this to me is the heart of what 1 + 1 = 3 can really be. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are curious. Adam, has it been all bubblegum and lollipops? Well, maybe not every moment of every day. The reality is, sometimes things just take more thought and time. And again, for those who know me, I'm not the most patient of people. But as anyone who's lived through putting 2 large organizations can tell you, these things ain't easy, but nothing worthwhile ever is. But what's carrying the day for us and enabling us to move forward together really, really well are really 2 things. First, it's a set of shared values that's real, and it's on display each and every day. We care about you. We care about your clients, and we honestly, truly care about each other. And second, a shared, unifying vision for doing everything we can to make you as successful as possible. I think it's time to dive into just that. So it is my joy and honor to welcome to the stage your chair of advisor services, Alex Potts, and your president of advisor services, Mike Clinton.
Thank you all so
behind
much.
you.
So this is just a blast. And so Mike gets the reflection of my bald head. And if you see him shading, you'll know there's a problem. Adam, thanks a ton. So I want to talk about a couple key themes here that resonate with me. One, Adam, I want to personally thank you for the trust that you've put in us and actually the entire team. So it's one thing to say, hey, we're going to merge the companies together. I've had the privilege to know Adam now for about 12 years. And we actually started doing work together even before we actually technically came together. And I shared a little bit of this with you all last year, but the idea of we had an advisor problem that we were trying to solve, and Adam and team were solving the problem. And so I pick up the phone and I call Adam, and he basically gives us all the information for us to help solve the problem for the advisor. And to be able to do that so wholeheartedly, like he actually took time to matter. And I had an interesting event happen on July 27th. I get a call, and my father-in-law passed away. and is somebody that I'm really close to, somebody that mattered in my life. And I got some incredible, actually I was at the beautiful Sheraton, which fortunately is being refurbished right now, the beautiful Sheraton in Clayton, Missouri. And Dave Levin, actually, Dave, I don't know if you're in here. Dave is the COO. Dave, where are you at? I know you're in here. You gotta be in here. Maybe he's at the bar already. All right, no, so I get this note from Dave, right? Dave knows I'm at the Sheraton Clayton, and he says, sends this note, and he goes, hey, instead of you like sitting in a dingy hotel room, you're welcome to come to my house and just hang out. And making that time, that extra step just to matter. He didn't have to do that, but he thought about doing that. So I'm gonna take this a step further. So yesterday I had this incredible privilege to work with a bunch of advisors in the Admired Advisor Study Group. And for the last handful of years, we've been studying great behaviors or behaviors of admired leaders and looking for those leaders who get incredible followership and incredible results. So hearing the stories though, Deanne, I'm staring at you, hearing the stories like of how you matter to your clients. It was Mie Wire, like when Mie goes on a trip around the world, she sends a postcard to one of her 98-year-old clients or friends, and just to say hi, like those little extra steps are incredible. Like we've transcended so far, and I'll say you all have transcended so far from the idea of, hey, just being a better investment solution and being all about investments and just trying to help people on their investment side to now you're truly meaningfully helping people's lives. And I stand here very humbly and I guess in gratitude to all of you for what you do. I was talking to Ari Crandall, somebody who's gone through a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff in his own personal life, and he's been super gracious to share that with others. And I'm asking him, like, Ari, like, give me a story of like one of the things that you've done that you think was pretty cool with one of your clients. And he's telling me about helping one of his clients' daughters who's inheriting a lot of money, who's an alcoholic, and trying to help them, help the parents, help resolve some of these issues that happen. Wherever we can help in that, that's where we want to be. So the idea of having the investments, the transfers, the distribution, Mike's going to get into some detail about, hey, this is the stuff we're working on now. But I would ask you to rip the veil off some of the problems and approach us with that. We have this incredible, incredible opportunity with the likes of Schwab, Fidelity, TD, obviously Dimensional Fund Advisors, BlackRock, Vanguard. I mean, all these different firms, Envestnet, Orion, they were spending millions of dollars on ways to help advisors. We have this incredible objective ability to be able to look at what each one of them is doing and bring solutions to you all. But it also doesn't stop there either, because we actually have access to some of the top academicians in the world. So some of you who got to experience Robert Sapolsky a handful of years ago, still one of my favorite presenters, absolute wingnut, maybe the best professor at Stanford University, or at least thought by his students. But he was a world leader on stress and stress research. So these are things where if we can find somebody that can help you all, we owe it to you to bring that in the same way that you all do that for your clients. So I'm going to talk about this and hope to goodness this clicker works a bit. So I actually do have a few things to share with you. So this idea of collecting information, figuring out ways to help, I thought I would frame something. So 2 weeks ago, actually it was a week and a half ago, I was at Chip Rome's conference in San Francisco, and Chip sits on our mutual fund board. And I love the perspective that Chip brings to the industry. And he shared some slides that I want to share with you. Now, for those Michigan fans, you're going to appreciate these slides. The blue and gold are, and he flaunts it like he flaunts it obnoxiously, and he loves using 6.5-point type. So Meredith said, hey, Potts, like, we have these spectacular screens. Don't you dare start showing those slides individually. So what they did is they sexied them up for me. But what we're doing, and what I wanted to share with you is just some quick things to think about. And I want to share with you also a problem that I see in the US right now, that I don't think there's enough great advisors there to help. And you all, I would say, are great advisors, but the problem is much bigger than that. So if you just think about, this is important for all of you because this is your marketplace, right? You think of $77.5 trillion of financial assets that are in the US that basically are out there and available. And I'll tell you, 80% of those are controlled by baby boomers. So 80% is 77.5 trillion. If you take the sum of all of your assets under management, include DFA, Fidelity, TD, and Schwab, what's the market share? If you just take everybody in the room, it's basically zero, right? Take the amount that you have. Let's say you're representing about $10 billion in here, divided by 77 trillion. That's a really small number. So this idea to think that you're actually competing with yourselves, kind of, sort of, but there are more people and more financial problems than I believe that the industry is ready to handle. But you all are truly the top advisors in the industry, and you are driving these solutions for a lot of people. Now, I'm going to break this down a little bit. I almost fell out of my chair when I saw this. When you think about 1,700 new millionaires a day, like, this is crazy. And if you think about the implications of that, right? So the idea with the financial assets, what happens as the assets get bigger, the ability to do more gets more impactful. If you don't believe me, actually, make the time to watch the documentary Inside Bill's Brain on Netflix about Bill Gates, and you watch what he's doing and watch how he is empowering this $40 billion that he has and what he's doing in his foundation, what the impact he's making on the world. But let's bring it all the way back down, because for the average person, they have this ability as a millionaire or as their financial wealth grows to impact a lot of lives, right? And they can do that positively or negatively. And what I love about the stories that we get are the positive stories that come back out, and how you were meaningfully helping people, whether that's funding charities, whether that's doing these incredible volunteer things. You all are enabling that. You're giving these clients, these people, peace of mind, right? It's not about higher returns. It's about peace of mind. It's about getting busy living, right? And mattering maybe to other people. So here's why I say there's such a big problem. Again, you've heard me say this, and some of you on the Loring Ward side are probably getting tired of this, but imagine 10,000 people a day turning 65. So I love millennials. I'm the dad of 2 millennials. I love this generation, but I'll tell you right now, they ain't got any money. They don't have any money. But they're eyeing me. They're like, Pops, I know you're going down someday. I would be really careful how you think about this. The baby boomers right now have a massive amount of wealth coming to them, and you all are right in the wheelhouse. If you're just starting in this business, you are entering it at arguably the best time in history. Maybe the best time of history of man. Well, I don't know how many advisors there were 60,000 years ago, but this is truly, we are in the good old days. And I would just ask, please don't lose sight of that. We are in the good old days. Like, this is it. This is the chance to make a massive impact. So I keep hearing about millennials and that, and this slide blew me away. And I want you to look at basically the next 8 years, the flow of assets going to baby boomers as they age, the flow alone is greater than what millennials and Gen Zs will have. The flows alone. So you are in the right place, but the issue is, it's not just about the financials, it's about how do you solve these life issues that come because things get more complicated as people get more assets, right? And you obviously get that, but I thought I would just kind of set the stage, and Mike loves when I do this, get up at 100,000 feet. He's like, come on, Potts, like, deliver the goods, let's go, like, get it going. So I know you're saying it.
I'm not saying anything.
So the other thing, this isn't a secret. Like, I think we, like you, genuinely enjoy helping people. And wherever that help comes, like, this is just how we get our oxygen. And I want to share with you some things that are happening. But more importantly, if you understand the structure, people are like, well, what's the Loring Ward culture like? And how's it going with BAM? And I just thought I would throw a stake in the ground so you understood where we were coming from so we could alleviate some of these questions, right? So our intent is to build the best comprehensive wealth platform in the country. And it's not about the money. The investments are the table stakes. We owe it to you to bring the best thinking around the investment side. We have to deliver that solution, and we need to get that off the table, because now we want to work on the life things. How can we help you on the planning, where when the situations get really complicated, that you have a resource that you could pick up the phone, and within 15 seconds, you can talk to a warm body who's knowledgeable, who's helpful, and get that answer. If we can't get that answer, we know who knows who can get that answer. And I think that's something of unlocking that potential is super important for us. The other thing I wanted to do is kind of lay out like the ethos of what are we about? And people ask us like, how are you running this business? And I think the first thing, and I get this, I'm lucky to be presenting to Carl Reinhardt, right? So Carl basically interviewed me in 1989 with my feathered hair or whatever it was, and I got to work with these guys. But something I got to see is there was an ethos of being a great advisor, and that was truly having the client's interest first. No matter what, have the client's interest first. So for us and for all of our team, we have to behave like you do, like great advisors do for your client. That's first and foremost. So in a way, we're kind of like a macrocosm of your businesses. The other thing, and the team laughs, in particular Tom Zazueta on marketing, I hate the word product. If we're trying to sell you crap, I hope you shut down. Our job is not to sell you anything. Our job is to ferret out problems that you have and give systematic solutions to those problems where you can solve them and solve them time after time and be able to keep working on more client problems and helping more lives. Like that's how we're thinking about it. So again, we really try to strike the word product out of what we do. It is all about solutions. The other one is community. So this neural network, so yesterday we're doing our Admired Advisor event, and there's 28 advisors in there riffing on things that they're doing of how they're growing. But not just, oh, I grow because I get referrals. No. I grow because I get referrals, and I do this, 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 and this. And sometimes it's the subtlest thing. But this neural network, you all are the top advisors in the country. And it ain't about AUM. It's how you serve the people that you serve. So I think that's something that if we don't tap into that and we don't bring you all together, we're missing a massive opportunity. And this is something that's been core to our ethos since 1989. Bring people together, get them talking, get ideas, and find out how we can help you and vice versa, how you can help each other. I think the biggest discoveries are how you actually help each other. So if you don't know somebody in here, ask them who they are, where they are, but you're going to find pretty much every client problem I would bet that you get confronted with, you'll have an answer in this room. And if we can help be kind of that synapse to bring it all together, that's our oxygen. We want to figure that out. And obviously, I talk about humble, caring, smart do people. When we hire people, we look very actively for this. So we want people who have a sense of humility that put others' interests above their own, but they got to care. And that's actually been pretty much the easy part. I'll go back to that slide a bit. See if I can, there we go. So also the smart do, we made that word up. We're looking for people that have adaptive intelligence. So when you pick up the phone and you call, that you're speaking to somebody who is of high IQ, high EQ, you could drop a problem on their plate, and if they don't know it, they'll say, I don't know it, sort through it, figure out how to get you an answer. So we're looking for adaptive intelligence. So this is kind of our ethos of the principles of how we're running our business, and I think we've been doing this for a long time. When we did the diligence on BAM, this showed up time after time after time, and this is why from a Loring Ward perspective, we wanted to merge with BAM. We wanted to come together because of this. If you have the ethos, which you all, if you take a minute, you all have this in spades, this humble, caring, you're really smart, and you have a can-do attitude, and you're doing this for your clients. So this is something that's just critically important to us. The other thing people ask is like, okay, what kind of advisors do you serve? So the Loring Ward advisors are like, who are the BAM folks? Like, what are they doing? The BAM folks are like, who are the Loring Ward folks? The reality is you're very, very similar, right? And the way that our companies started, Alan Werba was a CPA. John Bowen, who many of you know through CEG, was John, right? He loved the academic side, loved the investment side, liked insurance, he liked a lot of stuff, but he liked solving client problems and liked solving advisor problems. And you had Carl Reinhardt, who was kind of an expert in clients. Like he was amazing of unpacking people. So our job was to figure out, how do we resolve all this back office stuff? How do we take the paperwork off their plate? How do we get rid of transfers, trading, distributions, new account, like all the minutia that takes them away from spending time with clients, like this. But there was a common thread, and first and foremost was the investment methodology. When we found out, like when we got that aha moment, like many of you've gotten, and I give DFA all the credit for that aha moment. It was Dan Wheeler coming into our shop. Again, this is now 1990, like April of 1990. And hearing a different way, right? We're looking at it saying, hey, we're trying to engineer the best portfolio we can to solve some 30-year liability, and not knowing we were taking idiosyncratic risk with active management. DFA came in as like, holy cow. Then we get whacked in August of 1990, and Iraq invades Kuwait, and we had an asset class that had an active bent to it as a Janus venture fund, and the manager takes a 20% cash position, and it screws up all of our portfolios. So now the implication is we're talking to clients about a stupid portfolio asset class when they're worried about their retirement and peace of mind, right? So DFA and this investment ideology gives you a massive advantage. And again, what's great is it's no longer just DFA. There are other firms that are providing these incredible asset class components to help you engineer portfolios for the long run. And I would say we've assembled the list at the top in the world, hands down. And we owe that to you, right? This shouldn't even be a question for you. Also, something else you should know too, that the beauty and the pain of diversification is you're always going to have something that's really good and you're always going to have things that are crappy. And it's been a crazy time. We've been doing this for a long time. This period of time, really up until September, is one of the hardest periods of time since the late 90s when the US growth is going. So behaviorally, you're not alone. We're all kind of in this funky boat and things have switched. So take solace in that. But if you didn't have this dissimilar price movement, I would fire us. Like that price movement is critical to a diversified portfolio. If you don't believe me, I'm happy to put you on the phone with Harry Markowitz for like an hour. Like he'll tell you, like this, you have to have dissimilar price movement to get effective diversification and to get your correlation coefficients right. So the clients could care less about correlation coefficients. They can care less about stuff, right? Like we totally get that. So this idea of who are the advisors we work with, you all are the ones, you're trusting us to abdicate this responsibility. We're going to talk about what we're doing tactically now, or in a few minutes, tactically of how we're doing this. And this post-merger thing has been amazing. Like, to talk to you all, some of the problems are similar. Some of our solutions that were already coming on, we had them solved on Loring Ward, and on BAM, they had a lot of problems solved that we were having on the Loring Ward side. So what we did, first and foremost, was bring the best of together, and we've been doing that. But I want to tell you a little bit about what we heard. And this is speaking to hundreds of advisors, way more Southwest Airline frequent flyer points than I expected to get. You will see me typically like in row 2 or 3. I like to think I'm first class in Southwest, usually a window seat so I can rest my head, have my earphones on. Actually, Kristen Donovan's been working on this. So one of the things we got from the Advisor Council, like, hey, we need more education on the 401k side. What can you do to help us with that? Kristen unlocked a really cool solution that she's going to talk about. The new accounts platform, we are the first firm, and are attempting to be the first firm to basically democratize and to simplify the paperwork between Schwab, Fidelity, and TD, and do it in a unified platform. We will be the first firm. There's a lot of people going at this problem right now, but we are working with Agreements Express to do this, and it's been a pain in the butt. But I would say it's not as much of an obstacle as what it was like in 1997 when I went in with a 56K modem and I went in front of Chuck Schwab himself, and showed them this is how we are downloading reporting to our clients on a big laptop with a 56K modem. So we're okay being the first. The folks that are using Orion, you're going to see some really cool solutions. We gave them Howard Lee and Chris Van Houten. They gave them a 168-page business requirement document to basically get the trading and the technology up to where you all need, or where we believe you need, to systematize the trading. So Mike will talk a little bit more about this. But we're getting all kinds of incredible feedback, and we'd ask, keep it coming. Keep the good stuff coming too. Like, let us know when we're doing something we should keep propagating, and tell us, like, you know what, Potts, Clinton, whomever you're talking to, like, get rid of this or do this better. We need that feedback. Actually, Wayne from Provo, Utah, thank you for your feedback last night. Like, we have so much room to help you all, and it's a blast. Like, and the things that are happening right now and that we're evolving to, like, I'll let Mike say it because he's going to get mad at me in a minute.
You're pretty much giving everything I was going to say, by the way.
So with that, you can see we've worked together for a long time. I am lucky to work with one of my best friends in life, with Mike. So he and I got to know each other in 1995. Carl remembers the interview. We had 2 interviewees, and Mike was number 2, and thank God number 1 didn't work out, or wasn't going to work out, because the passion and the care and the intellect that Mike brings, and we're super lucky. In fact, I hope you're not recording it, because I don't like complimenting him too much, because he starts to give me a hard time about it. But in all seriousness, I want to introduce you to Mike Clinton, who, by the way, is a recovered CPA. So Mike, come on.
Still recovering. Good job. And yes, you are damn lucky. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bank 2019. So as you heard by the way, feels kind of nervous with him behind me. If he does anything weird, let me know. Give me a hand signal or something. But if you're listening to Adam's open commentary, he talked about we're coming up on a year with the merger of BAM and Loring Ward. And from my perspective, hearing that, it's like, wow, it seems like it's been 11 years. But no, it's actually coming up on close to 11 months now. And what I thought I would do is I would actually take this time to go over share two things. What have we done this last year as a combined firm? And more importantly, what are we focused on? What are our priorities as we move forward into 2020? So those are the two things I'd like to accomplish today. Now, I want to start off with a story, though, or actually more of questions that I'm getting, and actually Alex talked about it a little as well. I mean, literally every single day, and probably not less than 5 times yesterday, in talking to advisors, like, how is it going? How's the merger going? How are you feeling? Are you getting any sleep? Are you glad you did the merger? And quite honestly, it has been a pain in the ass. So I'm not lying, and I think that's actually the terminology I used yesterday. I have been involved in numerous mergers, integrations in the past in my previous lives. And I'll tell you, this one it actually has humbled me on the complexity of bringing these two firms together with BAM and Loring Ward, the complexities of the offering, the complexities of how we work with you on the advisors. But with that said, I'm actually incredibly happy on where we're at now, 10 and a half months into this marriage. I know, like Adam says, don't have a lot of patience. We want things now. You're absolutely right. I want it yesterday, right? But looking to see what we've done, and I'll talk about a couple of those things, I'm incredibly happy. And not even so much about where we're at today, but it's more about what we have in front of us collectively for BAM, Loring Ward, and you, the advisors. So, getting into what we've been doing this last year. The first one, not surprising. We needed to understand the businesses. We needed to understand in excruciating detail the offering, the service model, how we interact with advisors, all the details and the processing of the business. And so that's what we've been doing over this last 10 and a half months. We've been trying to determine what are all those value adds, the best of the best, that Loring Ward was doing and providing to their advisors that BAM wasn't doing, and vice versa, all those great things that BAM has been doing for their advisors that Loring Ward doesn't have, and figuring those things out, and very excited to actually bring those to all the advisors in the room. So that's been core to what we've been doing so far this first year. The next thing we had to do is we had to put together the proper structure, get the right people, put the right people in the right positions, and start to build out the processes to actually service you going forward. As Alex mentioned, creating the best comprehensive wealth management platform available out there. We're trying to take the best of each of these different entities and come together with one service model that is the best out there, and that's what we're focused on. In talking about the structure, and I'll talk about the people in a second, but first going back to what Adam said about Alex focused on the next, Mike focused on the now. The real key thing, though, that I want everyone to take away from that is that we are 100% dedicated to the TAMP business, to serving you as advisors. I mean, I know he was kind of jokingly talking about we love advisors, we bleed advisors. I mean, it is kind of sad to think that I wake up thinking about this work, I go to sleep thinking about it. It's kind of sad I actually think that's so much into our life, but it's true. We've been doing this 20 to 25 years, and we love it. And so I think it's really key, and it's not just Alex and Mike. I mean, so take us off the list up there of people. I've actually put 4 other individuals up there, and I put them and picked them because these are the teams that you will probably most likely be interacting with on a daily basis. Some of these you know, some of them are new. Steve Atkinson, Head of Advisor Relations. This is a new structure for the BAM advisors, inclusive of the regional directors. We now are just offering up that additional resource to the BAM advisors. Howard Lee, running operation and client services. Jared Hoffman, relationship management, working with Allison and Laura and David Hanna and team. You have Kristen Donovan on the retirement side. These are the people and the 100+ behind them that are 100% dedicated to helping you, to servicing you, to making your life easier and your business more successful. But it doesn't end there. There's hundreds behind them as well that some are on the front lines and working with you directly. A lot of them are behind the scenes. I mean, you've seen some of them, Mayor and Tim, who opened up this conference. Jared Kaiser, Kevin Grogan, Jonathan Scheid on the investment side, John Spires on the technology side, Tom Zazueta on the marketing side. I was able to say Zazueta without screwing that one up, so that was actually pretty good. But if you think about all the things that we were thinking about and why we merged with BAM, this is probably the most exciting. The bench strength, the talent that we now have as a combined company is absolutely amazing, and it's actually what makes me so happy in making the decision to actually merge together. Technology. This is something you're probably not aware of, but we've been working over the last couple of months diligently to actually create a new operational service technology platform, that which we will be using to service your business. We're building it off of Salesforce, and it's going to be foundational for us just to be able to actually start to use this to deliver the services to you. But also, and just as important, it is the foundation for other technology solutions that we will be delivering to you, which I'll start talking about when I start talking about what our focus is for 2020. And then lastly, solutions. I brought this up already. We knew that BAM was doing certain great things for their advisors, and Loring Ward also doing great things for their advisors. What can we bring together and offer up to everyone? So here's just a couple of those. You should have seen emails from us announcing a lot of this stuff, but if anything doesn't resonate with you or you haven't heard about, please talk to your RD or your RM or actually anyone within the firm, and we could help you. First thing, the additional people resources. I mentioned the RDs for the BAM advisors, as well as just overall the additive people available to service your business just by us coming together. The fixed income desk, something that the BAM advisors have had, now the Loring Ward advisors have. Planning strategies like spend down, design, build, and protect. Strategies that now are available to everyone. As a matter of fact, these are two that are on the agenda here. And if you're unaware of these, please sign up and go in and learn what they are. And I'm not going to go through this whole list, but that's what we've been focused on, is continuing to deliver solutions to you. And this isn't something that just stops. This is going to be something that is ongoing. So that's what we have been up to so far in 2019. Now, looking forward to 2020, I'll give you a second to read.
Actually, Jean-Luc, are you here? Jean-Luc? Ah, there you are in the middle. So a year ago, you were talking to me about Money Guide Pro. I think he's got something to say about that.
So, here, do you want this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to be careful what I say. We've been working together way too long.
You know what? You have way more hair from behind than you do in front.
I've let it grow out. It's actually been a week and a half, right? So there's 5 things up there. There's a lot of other stuff that we're doing. Just for purposes of all the Loring Ward advisors that are on InvestNet, we're still working on the reporting and getting more flexibility there. So just because it's not on the list doesn't mean we don't still have that and working diligently to offer up these enhancements. But these are 5 core things that I think are incredibly important that we're going to be focused on moving forward into 2020. New financial planning tools, as Alex just mentioned. We're going to be delivering Money Guide Pro Elite to the BAM advisors here in Q1 of 2020. The Loring Ward advisors already have that. They just got elevated to the Elite on the Money Guide Pro earlier this year. Enhanced Advisor Portal. Right now we have BAMShare and we have Advisor Center. We're going to be coming up with one new portal for all advisors, and there's going to be enhancements. There's going to be stuff like a service request portal in there. You can also then track where we are with those requests. We're going to have abilities for advisors to communicate amongst themselves, whether it's in the study groups or the learning groups, or just also along with Loring Ward and BAM as well. And by the way, I apologize, I keep on using Loring Ward and BAM so much. We are in the process of looking at the naming and the branding and all that, and it's going to be forthcoming. But at this point in time, I mean, since we still haven't fully got to that unified offering, I'm still using it to describe various things we're doing. But trust me, I hate saying it that way, and we're going to eventually get to a point where we are all just advisors here together.
Tom didn't like the term BLAM, though. I don't like it.
Tom, I hope I didn't screw anything up. I know I wasn't probably supposed to say that, but nonetheless, it actually annoys me the fact that I still have to be doing that. But then the last thing actually on the new advisor portal, I mean, one complaint I have heard is, yeah, you guys have a lot of great material, a lot of collateral, a lot of education out there, but I can't find the damn stuff. So can you help me with that? I'm spending way too much time. It's not easy. We're solving that. And so that'll also be coming. Improve portfolio analytics and proposal tools. Another focus, we're going to be enhancing that and delivering that later on in 2020. And for those that actually don't have a proposal tool, we're going to be delivering that for use as well. Trading and billing capabilities. So right now on the Envestnet platform, all the advisors get trading and billing done by Loring Ward and BAM. We've set up that offering, that process. It's being done currently right now. On the Orion, we're setting up that model right now, that offering to take that work off your plate. Whether or not you want it or not, you don't have to have it, but we are building it out, and that's forthcoming as well. And then lastly, Alex already mentioned this, a new account opening process. You started to scare me. It sounds like we're starting to promise stuff right out here, but I know this is the elephant in the room. I know both on the Loring Ward side and on the BAM side, we've been talking about this for a long time, and it frustrates us that we actually haven't had or don't have that solution yet, but it's a gnarly problem. I can't believe I just said gnarly. You know, this is an industry problem out there. I mean, especially when you're dealing with a multi-custodian platform that we're doing. But I'll tell you, this is a key focus of ours. We have a lot of people internally working on this, and we're dealing, as Alex mentioned, with some industry experts on delivering this. And how I mentioned, you know, the new operational platform that we're actually about to launch coming up in November and December, that was actually needed to get us to the next level to actually accomplish this. So we're moving out on it, very excited about this, and cannot wait till we're able to deliver this. And then just ongoing, continuous improvements. I mean, we're never sitting back. Everything we're doing, we're always continuing to look at it and improve those services. So now, with that said, as Alex said earlier as well, we need to get feedback from you, both positive and negative. Please be talking to whoever your key relationships are within BAM and Loring Ward. We need that feedback. Give me the feedback. You could email me, you could call me. We love hearing from you. That's how we get better. So that's what we're focused on going into 2020. So I'd like to end by actually showing you a video. It's actually a really cool video, and it's in the spirit of the theme and of this conference. And what we did is we asked associates that are working on your businesses, what it meant to them to be in our element. And here's what they said.
I feel most satisfied when I'm able to help problem solve for our clients and ultimately their end clients.
I love operations. So solving problems, mysteries, getting to what really matters.
I like starting to build these relationships with my advisors.
What really excites me is that knowing that I have a fingerprint in helping advisors with their daily routine, making them more efficient and serving their accounts and freeing up their time to help their clients accomplish their goals.
I'd like the best that there are no boundaries to my job, that I can create
and help.
I like that everyone's on the same page and that we're interested in really helping the advisor be successful.
For the advisors, I think it means a lot to know that someone has their back.
The people in San Jose, the people in St. Louis, the folks in Sacramento. I believe that there's people that have a lot of humility, intelligence, and they really care.
I feel most in my element when I can be in front of our clients.
Progress. That is what a good day feels like.
There's always a buzz about what's happening around the team and the firms they get to work with.
And it makes my day whenever I know the advisor can take something back to the client and have a real impact in the client's life.
When you talk to an advisor and they say, we couldn't do this without you, or you played such a big role in this, and it's not me, it's the entire team or a specific person on the team, that's always great to hear. And that's feedback we always pass along because that can make someone's day.
I like my team. I like the camaraderie of our office.
This is my first job after college, so I just knew I wanted to be in finance and then find a company that has a really good mission and a really good heart behind what they're doing, and I found that.
What we're doing is building a foundation for the future. The altruism behind what we do is not lost on a day-to-day basis. We get why we're here, we have the why.
We definitely see the big picture and that it's helping out people.
This is a people business from the people that we work with and the people that they're working with.
It's been fun getting to know all of the folks in our community.
To see us all interacting and how closely we really work together, nobody's on an island. It's a big team effort.
Kristen Donovan, you are unbelievable on camera. Like, I don't get it. Actually, and Hunter with that head of hair is epic. I love it. So I'm actually, before I get off, one, I want to thank you. Thank you for your trust. Thanks for hearing us out. I know you're going to have a lot of questions, and I would ask, feel free to ask any of the team members. If we don't have an answer for you, we'll be sure we get you an answer. We have a lot of deliverables and a lot of things. You're going to see the pace of communication picking up. So we will be sensitive not to spam you with anything that is not pertinent in your email box. But I'm going to bring it to, I'm going to keep it real for a second. So on October 4th, for those who had a chance to know Judd Bergman, Judd was the CEO of Envestnet. He was speaking at the Loring Ward Conference about a year and a half ago. On October 4th, Judd and his wife Mary were tragically killed in an automobile accident in San Francisco, California. Got hit by a drunk driver going the wrong way on Highway 101. So I was supposed to see Judd that week. As many of you know, Judd was actually a really cool person in my life. Like, he mattered. He made time to matter. Not just on the Envestnet side. It wasn't for him about the technology. What he did from a technology perspective was amazing, because he basically democratized the ability to be a fiduciary advisor. And he did this in an incredible way, helping millions of lives, like multiple millions of lives. Judd also, he made the time. What I love about him, so I talked about this idea of admired leaders, people who get incredible followership and people who get incredible results. Judd was one of those. So some of you know my daughter is a professional drummer. That song that Mike and I walked out is a song by the band called Wild Bell. Wild Bell was starting their national tour that night. They were in Nashville, Tennessee. Wild Bell, the lead singer is Natalie, Judd's daughter, and the other lead of the band is his son, Elliot. Judd, a little backstory about Judd is he actually started Envestnet as a single dad. His first wife had died of cancer, died of a brain tumor. And Judd brought up 4 kids. And then when he married Mary 8 years ago, she had 3 kids. So 7 of their kids now lost their parents, right? And the cab driver who was driving had 7 kids. So 14 children were lost, or 14 children lost their parents, right? So we have a time like right now, and Judd was a guy, when you talked to him and you spoke with him, he would always give you more energy than what he took. And I wanted to take a moment for all of you and kind of give a tribute and also just kind of give a reminder that, like, we have one shot at this and we can choose to matter or choose not to matter. And I'm lucky that he mattered in my life. Now, as a tribute for some of you, and I'm going to lighten it up so I don't lose it up here, a couple of you, and Mike and I both had this opportunity multiple times, is to have a cocktail with Judd, and it was a pain in the ass ordering a cocktail with Judd because he was so particular. It's like, I want 2 drops of this and a little bit of this, and you better have this rye and that. But in tribute to Judd, he put together a drink. He was with some InvestNet people. I caught this story, and he said, I don't think anybody has ever put together this combination of alcohol, and I think this is the cocktail that we're going to bring. So I'm giving you this gift of this cocktail. And the InvestNet people wanted to name it the Judd, and Judd's like, no, you're not naming it the Judd. But Judd lived in Barrington, Illinois, and so they're calling it the Barrington. So for you all, I hope this acts as a reminder for you to make the time to matter. We've got one shot, and I want to thank you and just give you my gratitude for all you do for your clients, and thanks for entrusting us and helping you. Thanks a ton.